Hello and welcome to our final podcast for 2025. Kicking Glass is all about the trailblazers, the women that have led the way, that have created pathways and opportunities for those that come in their wake, whether it's in the ring or whether it's in the office or whether it is just cheering and supporting, because that is just as important. Now, today, I swear, I'm not only just always picking from the Oceania, but it seems that way. We have the most incredible woman. I'm going to let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about it, but this lady has been from inside the ring in every capacity, right through to inside the board office, coaching national teams. She's a world champion. She is the coach of world champions. She is the referee of world champions. She was a president. She was on the executive board for a number of consecutive terms, and one of the first females to do that too. I have so much respect for this lady. Let us introduce to our screens Victoria Pa.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Victoria. Can you tell us, and she was also Victoria Nansen, so you might get a little bit confused. She got all loved up and married an amazing man. But let her tell you where she is and introduce herself and tell us a little bit about how you got into Muay Thai and why you love it, because you've been in it for a long time.
I have, and it has been a blessing to be part of the best sport in the world. Biasly saying, at the moment, I'm sorry, I'm not in my normal setting. I'm in a hotel in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. One of our former IFMA athletes is actually fighting tomorrow on a professional show here in a professional boxing show here in Auckland, Sarah Linton. So I am doing what most trainers do, sitting post weigh-in in a hotel room, doing some work, and talking to one of my best friends in the sport, who I would call my sister, because that's what Muay Thai is. It's family. I've been in the sport for 32 years now, and I'm here because it has taught me so much, and it's given me so much. So thank you, Sue, for the introduction. Yes, I've fought and I've coached and I've refereed, and the journey goes on. So relative to what we're doing now, I'm the national coach for the New Zealand Black Gloves, and getting ready for another exciting year next year, because I know that there's going to be heaps on. So excited for that. So thanks, Sue, for having me.
You're welcome. I'm just super excited to have you here, because you have just about done every job there is in the sport, except probably Stefan Fox's job. Or Teresa's. I suppose we should pick on the girls, right? Your love for Muay Thai is not just for the family of Muay Thai, because your family is also very entrenched in the sport. Your sister is a champion, your brother is a champion. They're also coaches of champions. So to say that you champion the sport completely would definitely show where your heart is in our sport. And so you have been with us because you were New Zealand's second president it was called the New Zealand WMC at the time, now called the New Zealand Muay Thai Federation, and definitely an IFMA advocate through and through. Can you tell me why? Because we're not the only people. We are the best, but we're not the only people. So what is it that keeps you there?
Our sport is a sport that requires us to work in integrity and honesty, and that has to be real. IFMA and WMC, same, raised me as an athlete in the sport. I remember, and I think you would agree, that WMC World Championship was probably the epitome where we wanted to, that's the title that we wanted to win, right? It was always, when we had WMC champions, they were always names that you knew that they were the top of the top. So as a competitive athlete, that's what kept me driving to get that WMC title. But also it has created honest pathways for not just me, but my next generation and my generation after that. So, I think this says our age a bit when we say that there's like a few generations after us, but that's what it is. And then more personally, it's my daughter. So now my second generation is involved as an IFMA athlete. It's the driver of our sport into the highest places, into the stadiums, into world championships, into overseas international championships, lots. So it's the success of it speaks for itself, hey?
Because your daughter is young, so we now have the youth championships, which actually have been going for 10 years now, a decade already, and she, I think, started at the lowest range, and she's done Waikaru as well as combat. And how many championships has Kiona been?
She's done 3, plus she's done the Aussie Open championships, right? She started at the, like you say, at the lowest, 30 kilos, where there was only 2 people in her weight category. So it has done so much for her, in her, not only in her sports world, but just her overall as a human being. Muay Thai has done so much for my children, and my son is back in the gym.
As a mum, what would you say to advocate for the sport? Because a lot of people think, oh, girls shouldn't be fighting. I know it's archaic, but it's still there and it's still around. What would you tell other mums?
Muay Thai is not just about ring fighting. Yes, it's inevitable if you're serious about the sport and you're going to end up in the ring, but it's also so many other arms to our sport. So confidence was a biggie, and discipline is a big draw card for kids to come into our sport. It's a chance for our kids to see the best version of themselves, but also overcome so much. So we live in a day where children have gone through a fair bit of childhood trauma. They have their own issues, they have their own expectations of life, but Muay Thai stays the same, and its values stay the same. And Muay Thai creates great gyms, family environments, safe environments. And so we've had so many mums who are really reluctant to put their kids in, let alone let their kids fight. But when they see, I guess by example is a good thing too, right? When you're training your own children, putting your own heart on the line whilst your kid is going through a camp, they see the rewards come out, the rewards from it as well. So
you are the New Zealand coach, so it's not just your daughter you put through the paces. You have a team. I think New Zealand quite often has really large teams, like in the 30s and 40s, numbering huge numbers. And I got to say it, like it's common that the more our Māori and Pacific athletes that are in there and that do well. Not many of the Pakeha do as well. Maybe they're just not as good at fighting. But to have a strong wahine toa, which is a strong woman, leading them, I've seen the respect from these boys, and I think that's a beautiful thing about Muay Thai. How do you feel as a female coach?
Yeah, being a female coach comes in 2 parts. There is the actual coach, and then there's the maternal part that a lot of these kids need. So yeah, auntie to many, auntie to a million. So not really called by name, generally kids call me auntie, and that in itself, that speaks how they feel about you. And so I am very close to 99% of the kids in our sport, and especially if they come through the New Zealand Black Gloves program, then yes, we have a huge whānau value in there. But that's also Aotearoa, that's also New Zealand. We are very whānau, family orientated. So naturally our sport is going to end up like that. Anything that involves children, I think generally we always cloak those programs up because they involve our kids. So yeah.
I know you spend a lot of time, don't you? Like, it's not just when you're on the floor and when you're taking the camps. You spend a lot of time writing the program, speaking with the parents. These kids come back year in, year out after and again and again. And I guess that's why you manage to breed so many champions out of New Zealand. You've got a huge number of gold medalists under your belt, to your credit. Do you know why? Like, could you give other coaches a little taste of Victoria Parr's magic?
Hey, listen, darling, it's teamwork, right? So when your individual coaches are on board with you and they support your program and your model for their because it is their athlete, they are their athletes first and foremost. I actually don't work in silo. I work in a team. So the Black Gloves has a commission. The two behind me, Mal and Q, we're always bouncing off, and I don't make any decision without them. And I think that is really important. So when the next national coach comes on board, I think that it's important that we carry on that way of thinking. So it's the teamwork. It's bringing all the coaches on board so they are very well equipped as well to taking national training into their gyms.
And it's been recognised too internationally, because I think obviously not the last championships because New Zealand didn't manage to get a team over there but in last time in Bangkok, you won the team award, like best team spirit.
Yeah, that again, it's our culture, right? It's the culture that we bring from our country, from New Zealand, little old New Zealand, this little country down the bottom of down the bottom, and we're tiny, but we are definitely, when we come over, because of our camps, because of that whole whānau vibe that we bring over, it's not hard to bring that spirit over to overseas. So these kids, they already know each other. They've already been in the trenches, even though they're from different parts of our country. They already know how they are. They've spent time with each other. They've stayed in the same marae as each other. So which is great. They've came together. So it's one thing to have a formula. It's another for these kids to come on board and embrace that formula as well as their coaches. So I think that's really important. It's that wholeness before you come do any championships.
And you bring a lot of in-depth knowledge, I think, to your team, because you're a promoter, you're a referee, you referee men at New Zealand's top leading show, King in the Ring, heavyweights. Like, I've seen you in there refereeing people twice your size and fully in command of the canvas. You bring a lot of respect with you. What would you say to other women that feel like or would quite like to get into the refereeing and get into promoting? Because promoting's not easy.
No, not at all. Promoting in New Zealand at that as well. But our country, New Zealand, is known for having strong women in our sport. I don't think they have too much of a problem, our wahine toa in our sport, with promoting and that sort of thing. However, just go for it. just go for it. Don't let the boys stop you.
I'm just trying to fix up the lighting in the situation. I'm in a new place too myself. We were talking a little bit before you came on, and we were talking about winning cultures. Can you expand a little bit on what you mean on that?
I guess we introduced high performance into our team, and that was thanks to my husband, who has actually got a lot of high performance sports training up his sleeve, and utilizing people in our team. So winning culture revolves around high performance, and a lot of teams, they think that high performance is just the winning in the ring, whereas high performance is everything from your character to the ring fighting to what you do after the ring as well and outside of the ring. So this year or last year we managed to get some programs through Quentin, and it's stuff that he's done with national rugby, regional rugby teams, with his own national representation of rugby and gridiron, and just like mashed it up together and took what was relevant to us, and he's been going through them with the team. So everything from mindset to performance to out of sport character and what you do outside of the sport, and that all also comes back around to fair play, clean sport. It's all related. So if you have a winning culture, or try and adapt winning procedures and models into your team, you'll get so much more than just the win on the day. You'll get better human beings, growing athletes, ones with goals, ones with a changed mindset. So, yeah, all that sort of stuff.
And that comes back to the communities they live in, doesn't it? That integrity and that strength of character and that ability to push through the hard times and understand that achieving a goal is being part of a team. You don't really win by yourself, even if you're in the ring by yourself. So what would you say is like what we were talking beforehand, and we were talking a little bit about winning cultures, but then we moved a little bit onto future. What does the future hold? Like, you seem to have done everything in the sport, but you still actually are young. Where do you see the future going? Like,
definitely with, let's look at the stadium fights that have been happening. So the future is now Whalang can actually fight in the stadiums. Now, again, a little country, New Zealand, Aotearoa, and so our promotion, Mana FC, which opened that door to the road to Rajadamnern, we would never dream of having that, right? That's a big, huge opportunity.
However, we're not even allowed to fight in Thailand and
Muaythai. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. MBK shopping mall is probably as far as we're going to get, right? Or small stadiums on the islands, but definitely not in those two. And I guess 15 years ago was a dream of all of us to see our country, and so we did have a handful of our old athletes fight at the stadiums, but not near as much, and not this opportunity to actually be able to sponsor to train and fight there. So for the pro circuit, that is the dream. But for the amateurs, it's those Olympics. So, it never ends. The dream doesn't end, especially for these kids. I'd like to see my child in the Olympics, to be honest. And what is happening with that, darling? Like, when do you think we can see that next demonstration going? Is it the next Olympics?
Well, I know that they're in some discussions with it being a side event, a bit like what we did with Paris. And I know there will be discussions, of course, with Brisbane as well. Getting on the main stage platform is not an overnight thing. And there's still a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross in order to get there. But we're definitely on the pathway. But I think, like you were speaking earlier, the youth is really where it's at. And 2030 is our next, because next year in Senegal is the Youth Olympics, and then the one following that will be, I know it's been bid for by Thailand, by Indonesia, who we have a very strong relationship with. So it wouldn't surprise me if 2030 we are a full medal sport in the Youth Olympics. I know we are now for the the Special Olympics. We're now a full medal sport. And actually, I was talking to Stefan earlier this year, but just talking to Zalata, who is their managing and marketing manager and person who's producing our podcast. Thanks, Zlata, you're awesome. She was saying that it has now been confirmed that we are part of the Masters Games. Something I feel like I'm always chasing a tail. I never got to.
We have been. We've been chasing this since we were like in our mid-30s, and now we're in our late 40s.
Why is that? Where's the Masters? Where's the Masters? And I was looking it up, and I may be wrong, but like boxing's in the Masters, and their top age is 51. Anyone over 45 has to have an EKG, and they've got a few different divisions, so it's not just open. I'm not sure what the ins and outs are going to be for the IFMA, but in February, and I think it is next year, if I understand correctly, in Abu Dhabi, we will be part of the Masters Games, and we are, drum roll, opening it up to 55 years. I'm like, if I didn't have this concussion, I could compete in February. But sadly, that's not, once again, going to be a goal of mine. But you've got a few more years. So what are you thinking about that, Tori?
Oh, I'm loving that idea. I actually, I'm going to wait for my husband to come back in the room to have this discussion. Because I think, like, you and I have been talking about Masters for quite some time, for the last decade. I knew it was going to happen. I actually thought that it wouldn't be such a high age, because it does seem like, well, okay, 55 is quite old. But then when you see, if you see our past athletes and our past champions and the ones that are even reffing right now, and like let's just say Abby from Australia, she's in great shape. She still holds pads for her gym. Her and her husband still train fighters. She refs. Now, I don't know if she'll ever do the Masters, especially what the parameters are around being an official and being a fighter. But you see these old fighters, they are in great shape. And so, yeah, it is pretty exciting, darling. It's pretty exciting. But my children my daughters are going to watch this, and probably when I get home, they'll say no. But definitely one to put on the diary for, it might not be Abu Dhabi, but let's see how these ones go. But I'd actually love to send a team or a couple of fighters. So really keen to see what the criteria are and how you guys are actually going to be doing it, because I know New Zealand will have a couple of fighters.
Australia too, like I'm pretty sure Aussie would be full of people getting back in there, wanting to get back in there. And I know Zalata was talking to some of the UK, the British athletes there too, and they're like, hell yeah, I'm in.
It's going to be big. It would be big. So really, really keen to see what's going on there, darling. We're your lady, we're your country. If you once you get that information, fire it through, because I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's my husband there, Smack Featherston. Let's go.
Let's go. He's saying, let's go. Was it how many months? You would have 4 months to prepare. Is that long enough?
Well, I've just in the last month and a half, I've been doing our morning classes at our new gym. As you know, we've got a new gym in our little town, and so we've introduced these early morning 5:30 a.m. classes, and it's the only time that I can train, and that's actually the best time just to get it out of the way, and so we can just focus on work. And so, I feel like I need to go for a run tomorrow.
You would definitely need your team. I think, you know how you said it was super important as a coach of the New Zealand team with the youth to have that team around you. You're going to need, I think, you know, we can't, just because we were once like world class, you can't just jump back in going everything will be there. I think you're going to need to look at nutrition. You're going to need to look at injuries. You're going to have to look at making sure the body's looked after, and the psyche. Like, how does that work? Somebody's popping on here going, ample time, Victoria. Easy done. Long enough. You just get back in there.
Yes, it was one of the dreams when we retired. That definitely was one of the dreams, was to watch out for any Masters games being birthed by IFMA, and 10, 12, 15 years later, they've done it. Great. But like I said, I'm not the only one. There'll be lots of other fighters in New Zealand. You know, I can just see all of those boys that those oldies just there with their ears pricked if they were to find out.
I wonder if they'll do the Y crew. I could do that. I could do a Y crew. Are they going to do combat and Y crew?
Yeah, they designed that for kids.
No, it's designed for all of them. I could do that. I always had a lovely one.
They'll make it the 55 to 75-year-olds Y crew competition.
I'm 55 in May, so I'm close enough.
Yeah, so great stuff. That's super awesome. I'm really, really excited. I'm pretty sure so will our exec and our Black Gloves teams. They'd be so excited about that.
And it's also, like you said earlier, like when we first started talking today, you said IFMA keeps creating pathways. So you start out young, and now it's the youth, and there's all these avenues with the cultural aspects, with the Y crew, with the Mai Moi, with the kids with the Muaythai over the water, which is so much fun. Going those pathways through to coaches, those pathways through to referees, those pathways through to presidents, which you've done, through onto the executive board, which you held for 3 consecutive terms, which is a pretty big accomplishment. And now through to the possibility of the Masters Games. If you get a good hit, you could always go to the Special Olympics later. Or maybe I could go there.
Well, we've got a fantastic athlete in the Special Games, right? Brad is amazing. And he's now in Phuket with little Carly. Well, she's not little anymore. She's not that 30-kilo little girl. She's 19, and they're both living the dream.
Yeah,
and I think for the Special Games or even Special Olympics, I'll be really keen to get Brad in there again, because he's great.
Brad would qualify for the Paralympics because he's below the knee one limb, so he wouldn't qualify for the specials. But Paras is slightly different. We're still working on that one, but he could coach. He's in Thailand, so that he's just living the dream. He's following his goals. What would be your goals now that we've talked about the Masters? But that aside, what are your goals for the New Zealand team, for your next steps? Where do you see yourself going?
Darling, we've got to have a succession plan for everything. So I'd love to see this team, you know, when I hang my coaching boots up and my coaching gloves up, I know that the next coach should be even better and take the team to the next level. So, all about growth and all about making sure that the team gets the best. So with the birth of Mana FC, with other things that we got going on, eventually we will have a new coach with new fresh ideas, new models, new programs, but we've set that foundation now for the next person going through. And I think I'm really excited. I'm really excited to finish my term and then go through that new motion and bring in somebody that's going to be even better and fresher and newer and younger. And, with more innovative ideas, all that sort of stuff. That's my goal for this team moving forward next year for the youth, the youth and the senior championships. I always make a little goal of medal count of my own goals for that year, set for that year. And we'll see how we go because I know that there's a lot of competitions coming up. Hopefully we'll still get that invite from Australia for the Australian Open Nationals.
It's going to be in Melbourne in April.
So it is, okay, so that's good to know. Melbourne, not GC.
Melbourne in April, Open International.
Okay, cool, because I'm pretty sure these kids will be keen, and I'll sort that out.
Brad, speaking of Brad, he's just jumped on. He's like, keen to help you and be a part of everything, whatever he can do. So he's just an amazing young man.
Yeah.
They're
good kids. They're over there living their dream, and that's so cool. From coming from Palmy, a little place in Aotearoa, to going like I've seen Carly fight. I think she's done 2 or 3 in the little time that she's been there, and I see them training all the time. So well done, you, Brad, and love to both of you over there. And all the Kiwis that are over in Thailand living their dreams.
The one thing I have always been impressed about with you, Tori, is a lot of people will get a position and they will just hold on to it and cling to it. But what I've noticed with you is you'll have a position, you build it up, you grow it from strength to strength, but your ego isn't so invested in it that you can't hand it over to someone else, mentor them into it, and then move on to another goal. I've seen you do that time and time again. And then you seem to inject your enthusiasm, your depth of knowledge, the beautiful integrity and culture that you bring with it, and you putting it into all these places. You don't just hold like to a life raft and stay there. You like dive off, go find what your next dream is going to be, grab hold and show the world what you can do with that. That takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage, a lot of self-belief and confidence. What advice would you give to our listeners around that?
We should never hold on to positions forever. We should serve our time in them, make the right goals in them, and strive to meet them, and then move on to building something else. Like we always strive to get better. So I'm never going to do that. In our sport, fast evolution in our sport. So, and also, we get older. We get wiser, I suppose. We are destined for other things within the sport still. So, like promoting wasn't something that I really wanted to do. Promoting was something that I did for my fighters so that they could get exposure.
Because it was the gauntlet was put out there and nobody would pick it up. Nobody would pick up the road to Rajadamnern, which is what our athletes need to be able to go to that next level, and nobody would do it. And you put your hand up, and I'm probably not meant to be saying this, but I know it cost you like $45,000 of your own money to launch this, and I have no friggin' idea how the heck you pulled that off, and you've done it more than once. That takes some big kahunas.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I have a husband that shares in that vision, that loves the sport like I do, albeit that he is a boxer, but still we run Mana FC One, because we wanted to create that and help create that pathway. And two, because it is also a cultural show. So it's something that we're very proud and very passionate about, and that's Māori culture as well. So the two together, we have been asked, how do they marry? But they marry so much in so many ways. And so, yeah, we're not meant to hold on to positions. Once we do our position, but that's why they have terms, right? Exactly. So that you can serve your term and move on to the next. It's always about your own growth as well as the growth of your kaupapa. So for me, I just want to see New Zealand Black Gloves do the absolute best and get the absolute best opportunity. Just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. Same with world champions. We come from a day where there were no world champions. Now we've got world champions coming out of our ears in New Zealand. And that's an ultimate dream for us as well, and should be as coaches, right? We have to be a lot selfless. It's the only way to do this.
I've noticed on your promotions, like we've had some of the Black Gloves then get into the next age bracket. They're not in your team anymore, but I noticed that they are always on your undercard, if not profiled as some of the main cards. So you continue to grow them in there. And I'm glad you brought up the Māori culture and the island culture is such a big part of your promotions. And I see the beautiful respect you're always doing an award and what do you call it, like acknowledging. You're always acknowledging the people that have come before you, and it's such a beautiful thing that I have seen on your shows. I think that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. We're just about out of time, but who else would you like to thank? Is there someone you'd like to do some shout outs to? Is there some top Victoria I nearly called you Nansen, advice that you would like to give? And I know your mum is always there supporting you, so I'm sure there's people you want to say thank you to.
Look, darling, there's so many people that prop me up, make me look good in what I do. And that starts with my parents, of course, my husband, my children who sacrifice so much. But also I'm backed by a very special team, an exec team, yourself, IFMA. I'm really looking forward to 2026 because we do have a strong team and a strong team behind me too, the ones that do all the background work. And I get to wear my coach's jacket. But I just want to thank everybody who's put so much time and effort into not only myself, but the New Zealand Black Gloves, right through to Money FC, a promotion that's run by us, but it's for everybody. So thank you, Sue, for having me, darling. And thank you, Lata.
She's just put up how to follow you on Instagram, but unfortunately she's still got Kaylee's name in there, who was there with us last month. So it's how to follow Victoria on Instagram. In New Zealand, she is known as Lady Smack because Smack is your original gym, which was the Southern Martial Arts Club. Now it's Victoria, and she is very affectionately known as Lady Smack, one of the mamas of Muaythai here in New Zealand. And she is awesome to follow. If you find her on Instagram, you will also see some of her links through to her other specialties as coach, etc., etc. It has been such a pleasure having you on here, Victoria. I've got to also say that we always talk about safety, and Low Blow, who sponsor us, do the groin guards for females. And I swear, if you're not wearing Low Blow, you're not protecting yourself. They are light. You don't even know that you're wearing them. They don't go up your butt crack, which is super important. And they keep you really safe. So If you're a
Oh,
female,
thank God we're old and we didn't have to use these.
what was that?
Thank God we're old and we didn't have to use these.
No, these ones are awesome. Like the ones we used to have to use were horrid, were horrific. But these are amazing. And they've even got some more new ones now too, that are even better. Like you cannot even feel you're wearing them. They've been designed by martial artists, by female martial artists. They are crazy good. Sweden. So, if it's in Sweden, it's got to be good. And speaking of Sweden, today we were meant to have Nicole Kaiser, who has, as we say, don't hold on to your position. She's taking over the gender equality arm of the IFMA from myself, and has so many ideas on what she's going to be doing. Unfortunately, her work stepped in today and she couldn't be with us. So I got to have you, which is even better for me because, like, you're my friend. Not that Nicole's not, but, like, we go back.
Not biased. Not biased.
I'm not biased. No, thank you so much for having you with me.
Thank you, darling.
An inspiration. I sometimes fangirl you quietly on the side. So I hope that other people will, and I know they will, follow in your footsteps.
Thank you, darling. Thanks, team.